Good morning. Wow, I didn't expect to get that quiet that quickly. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate everyone spending the time to come here today. I think it's only appropriate that we start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would join me, there is a flag that's right behind us, and I will lead us in that. If we could stand, please. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for taking the time to be here today. We're really grateful for those that are able to broadcast this. I know that it made our people, Trevor, really happy to see that we had some extra support. I'd like to recognize some individuals that are here with us today, along with parents and students from the Muroc Joint Unified School District. We have board member Tiffany Gordon. We have from Congressman McCarthy's field office, Aaron Falk. Assemblyman Tom Lackey. Carlos Basale from Assemblyman Lackey's field. Thomas R. Berard, SES retired. He's a member of the California Governor's Military Council. Lisa Silverman, DGS Executive Officer. Michael Watanabe, Chief of Program Services, Office of Public Schools Construction. Colonel Randall Gordon, Vice Commander of Edwards Air Force Base. Chief Master Sergeant D. Ward Swanigan is here as well. Colonel Jason Harris is here. On behalf of James Juckins, we have Claude Allen Whidden, who's here as well, from Civil Engineering. Chief Thompson is in the house. Appreciate Chief Thompson being here. Lisa S. Brown, the Director of Education and Community Relations, Flight Test Museum Foundation. Sig Cicery, Program Director with Construction Office of Local Defense Community Cooperation. Our original principal architect who began this project for us, Bob Hensley, who came out of retirement. And then those that pick up the baton afterwards. Bruce O. from PKB WLC, Principal Architect on this project. Juan Reyes from PBK WLC, Project Manager for this project. Mike Woods, California Professional Management, Senior Project Manager. Daryl Van Dran from CPM, he's a principal as well. Paul Bonacorsi from CPM, principal. Andrew Galbraith, CPM principal as well. Matt Negley, do I say principal or no? Matt Negley, not yet. Working towards it. Matt Negley, CPM. All right. We also have with us Candace Lang, who is our base liaison. We're grateful for her being here today. And then our last round, we have Aubrey Bryant Jr., who is Miss Edwards Air Force Base. Danica Navarez Jr., Miss Princess Edwards Air Force Base. Esther Robinson, Young Miss Edwards Air Force Base. And then a few people that are going to help us in cutting the ribbon later on. We have Christina Montoya, Little Miss Edwards Air Force Base. She attends Bailey. And then Danielle Genazzo, Little Miss Princess Edwards Air Force Base, also attending Bailey. Damian Bryan and Phoenix Bryan will be holding, later on, gentlemen, are we holding our ribbon for us as well and helping us out today. This is a very exciting day. Now, if I just left anybody's name off, you blame me. If anything goes right, then you go thank the people of my team. If anything goes wrong, you need to come and complain to me because I'm the one that messed it up. We're grateful that you could be here. We are getting to cut the ribbon officially today for William A. Bailey Elementary School and Irving L. Branch Elementary School, named after very special and unique individuals that mean a lot to Edwards Air Force Base and our community. The names that we see around this base come from individuals who oftentimes have given all that they had. And these are our ways of being able to recognize them. It is a pleasure and an honor to continue their name and their legacy through our schools. Almost 10 years ago, I was a principal at Branch Elementary School. At that time, Bailey had been closed because of the economic climate that hit us, and we combined Bailey and Branch together, where right now we have Desert High School. And one year we'll all get together and do one last ribbon cutting for that school. But I was there one day, and in the afternoon somebody came into my office and they said, there's a guy on the roof. Well, that's not normal for schools. So I went outside, I found said gentleman, asked him, what are you doing on my roof? And he said, I'm here to measure your school. We're gonna see if you can get some money. That's an odd statement, but sounds good. And then later found out about the Public Schools on Military Installations program. And for the last 10 years, there has been an amazing team of individuals. Some are here, and many are not with us today. They couldn't be here, but have been in this process of seeing where we fell on a list, from seeing how we could acquire funding, on getting very creative to be able to bring to Edwards Air Force Base schools that truly reflect the education that happens within them. For many years, what we have seen are schools which were built in the 1950s. Great time to live, apparently. But once you get to the 2010s, 20s, it's not necessarily the buildings that they once were. And so what you would see is inside of these buildings that did not look very well from the outside, there were phenomenal things happening. There were great learning opportunities. Kids were having engaged lessons. Exciting things were happening. But if you drove by outside, you probably didn't want to stop by to check it out. It did not look like a very inviting school setting. We did our absolute best over these last 70 years to keep the facilities up and running and in a condition that was sufficient and appropriate for children and for adults. But there does come a time when buildings need to be replaced. And gratefully, through the PSMI program, Muir Archon Unified School District was able to partner with the governor, was able to partner with Congress, was able to partner with the Office of Economic Adjustment, which has changed to a very long name, which I cannot say right now. We got to have SIG come on board. We've had several changes in leadership at Edwards Air Force Base. Every single time, whoever it was that has come through has said, I understand where we're at. Tell me where you feel we are. We're here to pick up the ball and help you to keep moving. We were able to meet amazing individuals. Lisa Silverman, Mike Watanabe have been tremendous friends to us and have helped us to find very creative ways to maximize dollars. So it was required that we would need a 20% match to make this work. The federal government, the Department of Defense, through the former Office of Economic Adjustment, gave us 80% of the monies that we would need. But 20% of that very large number was not something that we had sitting in our bank account. And so we reached out. We reached out to all sorts of people. We reached out to Tom Lackey. We reached out to Kevin McCarthy. We reached out to so many different people and said, this is our situation. These are our children. What can you do to help us? And I can say without a doubt, across the board, we have found nothing but support and excitement and energy, knowing that we had to work within the confines of law, but we found ways to get very creative within the law. And we found ways to be able to bring this to the students of Edwards Air Force Base. This is what they have deserved. This is what they do deserve. So these buildings are intended to stand for the next 50 to 70 years. I would love to say they'll be around. I'm 46. If I'm around when these buildings get replaced, either something went really well or really wrong. So all I can say is we will do our part as a school district to honor these buildings, to ensure that they stand as beacons of hope, as institutions of learning, as places where kids can come and feel safe and be safe and become a little bit better today than they were yesterday. And I know that Edwards Air Force Base is committed to ensuring that we have the partnership as well with them. I would ask at this time, for the next so many decades ahead, I would implore parents that have not even been born yet to respect the facilities. I would implore students that have yet to be born yet to have pride in the buildings that we have built for you, to have community pride, to be grateful for what you have been given, because I know that I sure am. As a father who has brought every single one of his children to these schools, as someone who has worked here, has done grounds, has done maintenance, has cleaned all of the classrooms and bathrooms, has taught at all the schools and been the principal, I can tell you I have a very vested interest. And as a military dependent myself growing up, I can tell you there's nothing more important than coming to a brand new school and feeling welcomed. And one of the ways that you can feel welcomed, most importantly, is by just having a nice place to go to. So with that, I would like to turn the time over and explain the rest of our morning to you. Next, we'll be pleased to hear from Aaron Falk, who is Congressman McCarthy's office field rep. There will be a video presentation at the conclusion of his remarks from Congressman McCarthy. At the end of Aaron's remarks, we'll be pleased to hear from Assemblyman Tom Lackey. At the conclusion of his remarks, I've asked if Colonel Gordon would come and say a few words on behalf of Edwards Air Force Base. I will have a few closing remarks. I'll be brief, and then we will have the ribbon cutting. At the conclusion of that, we have some carts, and for some of our visitors that have come today, let me make it easy for you. If there's a name tag on your seat, we're going to find a way to put you in a cart so we can get you around, and we might have to do it in shifts. For those of you that are here today and would like to see the campuses, we invite you to do so. Be respectful of teachers' classrooms, please. You can usually look through a window. I believe that down at Bailey there are some classrooms that have been open because today they've been doing back to school kind of an open house day. So feel free to walk around. You can go into the cafeterias and the libraries and do all of that. Here's the rules for masking for us. Here's the way it works from the governor's office. Right now you're on state property. So our rules are as such. If you have not been vaccinated, we would ask that you wear your mask, like everybody else. You may keep your mask off outside. Indoors, if we're all adults, you may have your mask off if you've been vaccinated. As soon as a child walks into the facility with us, all of our masks go back on. If we can all be respectful of that, I would appreciate it. And at this time, I would like to turn it over to Mr. Aaron Falk from Congressman McCarthy's office.
Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of Congressman McCarthy today. I'm sure he wishes he were here. I believe he's up in an airplane right now. Kevin did ask me to come down here and say that he was proud to vote for the appropriations packages in 2011 and 2012 that got the ball rolling on all of this. And both he and our staff have been working on this tirelessly ever since, doing our best to support you guys. We're proud to join you today and celebrate this important milestone. Kevin did ask me to specifically thank a few people from the Muroc School District, Kevin Cordes, Chief Business Officer Trevor Walker, the principals from the schools, John Sirks and Jason Spitzer, from Edwards Air Force Base, General Heiger, and as well from the Department of Defense, Sig Chitchery. This was a team effort, and I'd like to commend all of you on a job well done. I know Kevin is very, very proud, and he's happy for you guys. To commemorate it, he did ask me to bring a couple of certificates to mark the occasion, one for each school. And as well, to honor the occasion, he arranged to have an American flag flown over the U.S. Capitol, as well as a certificate of authenticity. And I sincerely hope this video works.
Hi, I'm Congressman Kevin McCarthy. I want to send a quick message to congratulate Superintendent Kevin Cordes, Chief Business Officer Trevor Walker, and all those who helped make today's ribbon-cutting ceremony for Branch and Bailey Elementary Schools a reality. Our community is known for testing and developing cutting-edge technology. Those advances begin with a firm academic foundation. That is why I appreciate the critical role teachers play in helping our kids thrive. And updated facilities such as the ones we are celebrating today only enhance our teachers' ability to provide our children with a first-rate education. Over the years, I've been proud to support efforts to enhance schools on military installations, to ensure that the children of our military and government civilian families receive the best education possible. This event is an important milestone to better position our students so they are equipped to handle the challenges of the future. So congratulations. Best of luck to Branch and Bailey Elementary Schools on the upcoming school year. And know that you'll always have a good friend in Congress. God bless.
I guess that's my tip. Well, this is exciting, everybody. For those of you who don't know, I grew up out here. And I'm reminded of my father, and that's why I'm a little emotional right now. He was the town dentist in Moron. So you can imagine the upbringing I had. I was a very fortunate young man. And school facilities on this base have been a problem since the 70s. This has been a problem for a long, long, long time. So this is very moving to me to see this happen. You know, money is responsible for so many things and also so many problems. But without it, this doesn't happen. And I can't tell you how proud I am to be even a little bit responsible for something this good actually finally happening. I mean, not to get off topic a little bit, but Desert High School has been an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment for decades. Canyons of cracks the size of canyons within classrooms. Truly, that is how bad it has gotten. And finally, we're getting remedy. Finally. Kevin Cordes, thank you. He has been a dogged, committed individual to make sure that this has actually happened. The odds were not in the favor of this base getting this to happen. This was the result of just a lot of good things happening as a result of many generals, many private investors, just tons and tons of people. And here we are. It's amazing. It's finally happening. And I'm so thankful for, there's probably people that are among me that I don't even know you, but thank you for what you've done. Because there's going to be decades of young people that are finally going to be proud of where they go to school instead of embarrassed. And if you don't think that has an impact, you're kidding yourself. It does have an impact of whether you're proud of the school that you attend. It does matter. Great things can happen in spite of it, but it's in spite, and that's a shame. Because public funds should be invested in education among all the priorities. So very proud to watch this happen. Here's the proverbial certification acknowledging this great day. Thank you for letting me join you. I couldn't be more proud. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. How you doing? I have to agree with everything that's been said. This is a really amazing day. I'm speaking not as the vice commander, but as a parent, and our son went to elementary school here, went to middle school here, and is now going to high school here. And to the point, this is just my observation, I always thought it was a little weird that the departure pattern for all the airplanes that fly right over the campus here, you would have a $2.5 billion B-2 stealth bomber flying over this decaying architecture for our school system. And it was just deeply frustrating to see that go back and forth. When my wife and I left in our second tour here at Edwards and we went to Hanscom Air Force Base, one of the first things that we saw when we walked in was this gleaming, beautiful, brand new school sitting there. It looked like something Frank Lloyd Wright designed. And it took a moment to go, well, wait a second. Hanscom is a part of Air Force Materiel Command, the same as Edwards. How come they can have something like this in a place like Boston, right, where the schools outside are just glorious, but at a place like Edwards that really needs this? We just haven't seen that. And so today, Bob, your design clearly right outclasses even what we saw at Hanscom. And if you haven't had a chance to see this yet, I highly encourage you to take a tour of the place. It will absolutely blow you away. You're going to have this two minds developing in your head of, I've heard so many terrible things about Edwards Air Force Base, but then there's something like this, right? And so this is part of completely reconverting that myth of Edwards and actually bringing it to the area that we all know that it is, right, which we are the center of the aerospace testing universe. Our kids are from folks that are just super inclined to be very engineering. We're all Air Force guys, right? So now we finally have a facility that actually looks that way. And if you don't think architecture makes a difference, walk into any cathedral, walk into any complex in Silicon Valley. They don't look like terrible facilities. They're built for a purpose to set a mindset when you walk in the door, and now we finally have this. The last thing I'll leave you with is Irving Branch went by Twig and Bailey. They were spectacular heroes from World War II. Branch flew in the China, India, Burma kind of campaign, and Bailey flew in the theater in Europe. Branch was one of our Air Force Test Center commanders. This would have just absolutely blown them away to have actually seen the campus that's now named in their honor. So it is a great day. This is a legacy project. This is one of those things that you can come back to 10, 20 years from now and say, I was there when the ribbon cutting happened and the kids came in, and that completely changed the narrative of what it meant to be a student at Edwards Air Force Base. So again, I want to extend my personal thanks to all the representatives we have here from federal government, from state government, from MUROC, right? One of my great joys, if you will, was watching some of the previous generals that were involved in the opening stages of this. They've never seen the school actually constructed. And so when they got a chance to come back and see this, just watching the look on their face, you could see it in their face that they were just deeply proud to say that they did something just to help get this along. So today's for them. If they're joining us online, thank you for that as well. So with that, let's go see the school. Let's cut the ribbon. Let's have a good time. Thanks again for having us here today. Thank you.
I'm grateful for Colonel Gordon sharing exactly who the individuals were that these schools were named after. The school buildings themselves are not the only thing named after individuals. Just know that. One thing that hopefully you'll get a chance to take a look at is the cafeteria, the multi-purpose room today that's here at Branch Elementary School. When I was in the 6th grade, I remember we stopped class and turned on the news and we watched we all tuned in to watch the Challenger take off. And Krista McAuliffe was a teacher, and we were all excited, and then we know how that ended. That building is named the Dick Scobie Building. Dick Scobie was the commander of the Challenger. So there are a number of places on this facility that are named after very special and unique individuals. I just want to thank all of you for being here today and taking the time to come out in the heat. We held it in the morning. I would be remiss if I did not mention that Tommy was very kind and sweet, he always is, but this, I bird dogged, yes, but I wasn't the only one. We've had 2 other superintendents, Loretta Gibson and Michael McCoy. who were on this project. This has been going on a long time. I'm one of the few people. Jeremy Job is another one. I think we've been here since the inception, as far as the school district goes, working towards this. But the tireless efforts of individuals like Trevor Walker, Brent Tan, I just want to take a moment to make sure that I recognize them as well. So with that, let's cut a ribbon and go see these beautiful facilities. Thank you for taking the time. And now is the time. All of my people come forward. You take this way, and you go that way. Forward, it's not the flag, we can let it touch the ground. Maybe you come this way. All right, we pull the top, but not too tight. Now, I only have a tiny pair of scissors, so you guys are going to have to be careful in sharing these. Very, very easy. So, you guys will hold them together. One there and one there. I'll help guide. And 1, 2, 3.